There's an ongoing debate in the music production community of what is better to make music on, computers or gear. Now, I'm not interested in having this debate. I think the music making process is deeply personal and varies from individual to individual. So if you enjoy making music on computers or you enjoy making music on a piece of gear, as long as you're having fun, you're being productive, using whatever workflow you want, that's all that matters. What I do want to talk about is why I had to stop using Ableton, at least temporarily. I still might go back to it, but for the past year, I did not use it very much. The reason for me is very simple. Ableton became too overwhelming to use, which is a common experience I think music producers have with DAWs. There's just so much we can do in a DAW. You have hundreds potentially of different plugins, dozens of synthesizers, you have an unlimited amount of tracks or however much your CPU can handle. You probably have thousands, maybe tens of thousands of different samples. When you have that many options at your fingertips, it can be paralyzing. For me, it was. At a certain point, using Ableton, using software to make music just was not fun anymore. At the same time, I was growing tired of splice loops, and this is not to knock people that use splice loops or use that service. I think it's wonderful. But me personally, I noticed my songs were just sounding like what every other producer makes because we were using the same loops, the same sample packs, and I didn't really feel like I was achieving something unique that was me. So yeah, at the end of the day, I stopped using Ableton. I stopped relying on all of these samples I had amassed over the years, and I started fresh. And for the longest time, I didn't even really make music. I just focused on sound design and trying to understand how people make different drums, how people make different synths, and started crafting them myself across a bunch of different synthesizers. And music became fun again, even though I wasn't making songs. Now, it's not all easy just using hardware to make beats or make music. I've actually not figured out a great workflow to finalize songs. You also typically have a lot more limitations, especially when it comes to how many effects you can add to a sound. The arrangement workflow is also not nearly as flexible on groove boxes than it is on software like Ableton. So it's been really challenging to try and make a complete song. But even then, I don't think I'm ready to head back fully into Ableton. It's also very expensive relying on only hardware because software will always be cheaper than hardware. You can buy potentially dozens of plugins for the cost of one hardware synthesizer. So making music using hardware is not an option for everyone. But the main thing I want you to take away from this video is at the end of the day, making music should be fun. And for me personally, it was no longer fun using Ableton. Hardware, on the other hand, maximum fun. So I don't ever see myself going back to being fully on Ableton, but I do appreciate it more now. And I feel like using all this hardware has taught me a lot about how to better use software if I were to ever go back to it. What I would definitely do is add more constraints for myself. Limit myself to a smaller number of tracks, limit myself to a smaller number of samples and plugins, and I know that would just make me much more creative because limitations tend to spark something within me where I want to figure out workarounds and I want to use those limitations to make something that sounds cool. Anyway, that's all I got for today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like the video, add a comment if anything connected with you or didn't connect with you, if you disagreed with anything, or if you have any questions. Also, join the Patreon. It's completely free. The link is down below. Thanks for watching.